Well, welcome everybody. My name is Erwin Santa Cruz, and I'm a motion designer and developer based out of South Florida. I'm excited to introduce today the release of my new plugin called Hangover Pro. Hangover is a render notification plugin for Cinema 4D. Now, if you're familiar with BG Render for After Effects, then this plugin comes pretty close in providing the same functionality. But I know we're all pressed for time, so let me give you a quick overview on how the plugin works. First, we need to enter some scenes into our batch render queue. Hangover works in conjunction with the batch render queue. Once the batch render queue finishes all its scenes, Hangover then sends out the notifications. We'll add a couple of scenes here. And then we'll open up Hangover. And you'll find Hangover in the plugins menu. First, we have our menu options towards the top, but we'll get back to that in a minute. First, let's concentrate on the three tabs. We have the Notifications tab, the Email tab, and the Mobile tab. The Notifications tab is where you set the type of notifications you want to receive. Then we have the Email tab. And here you'll enter the relevant information for your email account or the account you're going to send the email through. You're going to need your full email address with domain. You're going to need the SMTP server address, and you're going to need the port. Now, the server address and the port, if you do a quick web search, you'll probably find that information for your provider. Otherwise, you're going to need to contact them. Towards the bottom, we have the credentials section. And most likely, you'll need to fill this information out. And notice under encryption, you have the option of no TLS or SSL. That's another bit of info you're going to have to research. And for most providers, 587, they use TLS. And for SSL, it's going to be, I believe, 465. But again, you're going to have to do your own research on that to find the correct configurations for your provider. Once you have all that set, you hit the save button, and then the test button will become active. And I highly encourage you to try the test button out to make sure you receive the test email and make sure everything's configured correctly. Now for mobile notifications, we jump over to the Mobile tab. And to receive PRAW or Boxcar notifications to your iPhone, you need to register with the respective websites. For PRAW, you need to head over to the PRAW website and register for a free account. However, the iPhone app for PRAW is $2.99. What's cool is that PRAW for the iPhone integrates with the desktop Growl version, so that's kind of cool. For Boxcar notifications, you head over to their site and also register for a free account. And the iPhone app for Boxcar is free. Once you register with PRAW, you're going to get an API key, and you would enter that in the PRAW API key field. And Boxcar, you would use the email address you used to register. And the last option you have for notifications to your mobile device is SMS notifications. And I've tried to include as many providers as possible. If you don't find your provider in the drop-down list, send me an email and I'll update the provider database. Keep in mind, using SMS might incur charges from your provider. Last, we have our menu options. Under File, you're going to have a View Error Log, and this will give you information regarding any errors that might occur while sending notifications. If you find you didn't get a push notification or the email didn't come through, check the error log to see what might have occurred. Under Edge Cases, if you find things are going a little wonky, then try deleting all your settings to see if that resolves the issue. Otherwise, please send me an email at support@990adjustments.com. Under Options, you have the ability to use Growl notifications. And this works with the latest Growl version from the App Store, which I believe is 1.3, under Mountain Lion. Then we have our per job notification option. Hangover Pro gives you the choice to either receive a notification as each scene is rendering, so per scene notification, or once the batch render queue is done, it'll send you one notification for all the scenes. So you have that option there. And under Info, you have Help, which will take you to the Hangover website Help section, and some information about the plugin and the main Hangover website. So now we're ready to receive notifications. First option is Send Email. Once you check that, the recipients field will get populated with the email you used in your settings. And if you need to send out to multiple recipients, you could separate each email address with a comma. So for instance, if you got to send one to your boss or you're handing the project over to somebody else and you need to let them know when the project has finished rendering, you could input that information there. You also could add an attachment. So if you want to see the progress of your render once the scene is done, or just see if you rendered the correct scene, you select the scene and enter a frame number. And you also have the ability to attach a log file, and that'll give you other information regarding the scenes, such as scene path, length of time the render took. Then we have post-render actions. And by default, Hangover will play a nice little jingle for you once it's done. And then you have the option to either sleep, log out, restart, or shut down. Now the last four, you could only select one. You can't select multiple. And quick note, in order to restart or shut down the machine, you need to have the proper permissions. If you're on an account that doesn't have the proper permissions, you'll most likely only be able to put the machine to sleep and log out. Then we have the copy file section. Now, this is a section I use constantly. And let me give you a quick scenario here. It's Friday evening, right? You're setting up your renders, ready to head to the local bar or pub, or you're going on a hot date. So you're setting them up, and then out of nowhere, your supervisor pops up behind you. And he wants to make sure that once the renders are done, they get transferred over to the network so they could start to work on them first thing in the morning, right? Now, you and I both know that these renders take a good 3 to 5 hours each. And you know what? We don't want to wait around for 3 hours just to then transfer the files. I mean, you're going to miss the good times at the pub with your friends, and worse yet, you're going to miss that date. And it would stink to have to head back to the office in the middle of your date. So this is where this option comes in. All you have to do is you select the scene you want, enter the path where you want the files transferred to, and you're good to go. Now, you're probably thinking, well, why don't you just render directly to the network drive, right? But from my experience, networks, they tend to be flaky, and the last thing you need is your render to go down because the network went bad. And, company policy might not allow you to render directly to the network drive. But, your mileage might vary with this, and regardless, it's there if you ever need it. And last, we have the mobile notifications. Here you can select all three if you want. You have Prowl, Boxcar, and SMS. And with that set, you're ready to go. We just need to enter a path here. And let her rip. And there it goes. And you'll notice the render queue button is grayed out, and you'll get an indication that it's rendering. And if you ever need to stop the render, you just hit stop render and it will stop all the scenes. And we'll wait for that little jingle to play once it's done. And there you go. And now we'll wait for our iPhone notification to come through. And there you have it, Hangover Pro. Now, Hangover Pro is available for $24.99, and it's available over at the Hangover website, hangover.990adjustments.com, or at c4dtools.net. And last but not least, I want to say Hangover is available in a free version, which I've upgraded to 1.9 to include support for the latest Growl and Mountain Lion. And it's a great way to try out the plugin before you decide to purchase it. I've had issues with sending email through certain providers, and a lot of it has to do with the user being behind firewalls in certain environments. And the other certain providers have policies where if they detect you're sending email through their servers with a third-party application, they detect that email as spam. It's something I'm still looking into, so I encourage you to try out the free version first. In addition, there are a few other issues that you might want to read up on before you purchase the plugin, and you'll find that information in the Gotcha section under the Help menu. If you decide to buy the plugin, thanks very much. I appreciate the support. And I just wanted to let you know that a portion of the sales from the plugin will be donated to a local animal shelter. So our furry friends are going to be very thankful for that. So again, thank you for trying out Hangover, whether it's the free version or the pro version, and I hope you find it useful in your workflow. Thanks very much. Cheers.